beautiful people, and welcome to Gumbo for the Soul. As always, I like to remind everyone that this podcast was inspired by my cookbooks. I have an adult version and I have a children's version titled Gumbo for the Soul, where I include recipes, affirmations, verses, and songs. Today is actually, I'm going to start calling it Think About It Thursday. And I'm just going to share some things that I feel like we should think about. So, like I said, once again, today is Think About It Thursday. And I want to talk about some things that I think we should think about. Like I said, once again, every day I get up and I do my affirmations every morning. I self reflect on the previous day, and sometimes I get to reflect on, actually, not just the previous day, a lot of times I self reflect on decisions that I made. But the biggest thing that I reflect on is how did I treat my children the day before, and then I kind of remind myself, how do I want to treat them, you know, with the day that's the upcoming day. Whether we realize it or not, we are our children's inner voice. So, how we speak to our children, that becomes their inner voice. That is what they begin to believe about themselves because we are their, safe place. We are their, happy place. They come to us for, their needs and their wants. They are dependent on us um, physically, emotionally. They depend on us. So, whatever we model for them, that is what they will see, and that is what they will, try to do. So I just want us to think about. I mean, what if we raise a generation of children and we not saying that uh, anything was wrong with how any of us were raised, but I just want us to think about it. Imagine a generation of children who were raised by parents like us who decided to toss out all the spankings, the timeouts, the coercion, the shaming, and threats, throw all that straight into the trash and replace those oppressive tactics with connection, understanding, compassionate boundaries, and unconditional love. So, I mean, just think about that for a minute. So, what if you didn't spank your children? I mean, then what? Like, what do we think is going to happen if we don't spank our children, if we don't put them in timeout, if we don't threaten them, if we don't make them feel bad? I mean, what if we turn our parenting relationship into a relationship that's not centered around just around control, controlling your children, controlling your child? Just think about that for a moment. I mean, it's actually going to take a whole lot more work. You have to become creative and you have to basically learn how to communicate with your child. I mean, you have to think about it this way. You are raising the child, you're giving them a foundation, but you also have to think about how old your child is. And children can only handle certain things at different stages of their lives. Whether we want to think about it this way or not, your child, just like all of us, we have different developmental stages. I mean, some of the things that we expect from our children are really not realistic. So just think about it. If you're expecting your child to do a certain thing, you may need to go back and look at your expectations, the expectations you have of your child. For example, I mean, if you're expecting I use my child for an example, a 4-year-old child to sit still for any length or any period of time, you have to think about everything that goes into him being able to sit still. I mean, is he hungry? Is he sleepy? Is it something that he's interested in? Is it something that he enjoys? He is a child. He has the brain of a 4-year-old child. His attention span is very short. So for me to expect him to be able to sit still for a long period of time, that is impossible. So my parenting style, I do not force my child to do things that I know that he is not developmentally able to do. He gets overwhelmed, he gets frustrated, he has emotions. Just like I have emotions, he has emotions. So my job as his parent is to be a guide. I am not uh, going to be an authoritarian, but I'm also not a permissive parent either. I set boundaries and I set limits, and I hold my boundaries and I hold my limits. I don't. I do my very best to not yell at him, because if I yell at him, then he will feel like it's okay for other people to yell at him, and he also will feel like it's okay for him to yell at me. We model things for our children, whether we realize it or not. So the way I talk to him is the way that he will feel that he deserves to be talked to. And he, in turn, will talk to me and his little brother and other people the same way I talk to him. So, however I treat him now, that's setting him up for him to realize that this is how he deserves to be treated by other people. So, this is going to affect him in the long run, because this will affect how he chooses his relationships, uh, how he interacts with other people, and how he interacts with his peers. So I have to think about the bigger picture, not just about what is important to me right now. So it may be important for me, like say if I want to go to a public place, a grocery store, a worship service. I mean, if I just take him outside to go to the park, I mean, it may be important to me. Oh, I need him to walk and I need him to be quiet. There are certain things that we worry about. As parents, we worry about what other people think and how other people feel. But God has blessed me with a child, 2 children, and I am their safe place and I am their happy place. And it's my job to keep them safe. And it's my job to raise them into some kind human beings. So I have to start now. And yes, it takes a whole lot more work, because the easy thing would be for me to just have him do things out of fear, or have him do things because he's afraid of me, or he's afraid that I'm going to hit him. But I'm choosing not to raise him that way. Both of them that way. Actually, I'm choosing to raise them with compassion, and I'm choosing to raise them with love, because I realize that as an adult, I don't learn things by people yelling at me, and I don't learn things by people hitting me. And that is confusing, very confusing, to a child, to anybody really, if the person that you love and who's your happy place, they hit you every time you do something that they think you shouldn't do, or they hit you every time you say something that they think you shouldn't say. I'm also raising my children. They're going to have a voice. They're going to be able to express themselves. And I'm going to teach them about respect by respecting them. So they will have a voice and they will be able to ask me questions. And because I want them to have a mind of their own, because like I said, once again, I'm thinking of the long term. It is not about discipline, it's about raising them in a safe environment, in a loving environment. And we use our inside voices, and I'm modeling to my children how they should behave by the way I behave, and by the way I treat them, and by the way I talk to them. We model things, like I said. So, some examples of things that we model, whether we realize it or not, our relationship with technology. Are we always glued to our phone? Do we pay attention to our technology, to the phone, the TV, the computer, the laptop, the notebook, notepad, iPad, whatever you want to call it? Like, is that where all our attention is, or are we giving our children the attention that they deserve? A lot of times, children do things because they need, not because they want attention, they want connection. So, um, if you put the phone down, put the notepad, iPad down, get off the computer, get away from the TV and give them that connection that they need, then they won't do a lot of things that they do as long as they feel safe and as long as they feel connected to you. We model how we deal with our frustration. So if when I get frustrated, if I yell at people and curse people and scream at people and throw things, um, that's what my child's going to do, whether we realize it or not. If I yell at him because I'm frustrated with him, or I yell just because I'm frustrated, or I throw things, or like I said, I curse, or I try to hit or hurt people, that's what my child's going to do. He's going to model what he sees. He's going to do what he sees me do, not what I tell him to do or not to do. We also model how we solve problems. So if I'm a critical thinker, if I plan things out, if they see me talking things through, that's what they'll do in turn. We also model how we take care of ourselves. So if I'm always putting myself on the back burner, never doing anything for myself, never doing any self care things, that's what my child is going to do. He's going to think, oh, um, mama always put everybody else ahead of whatever she needed. Her hair was never done. You know, she always, she just never took care of herself. So they're gonna feel like either they're gonna do exactly what they saw you do, or they're gonna try to do the opposite. We also model how we apologize and repair. So if you've never apologized to your child and your child doesn't see you apologizing to people, they're not gonna take responsibility for their actions either. No matter how much you tell them about saying sorry. And matter of fact, I don't force my children to apologize because I want them to genuinely mean it and genuinely understand what they're saying when they apologize. Because if he's not truly apologetic for what he did, I just tell him, well, when you're ready to say sorry, let me know. I know that's not very popular, but that's how I'm raising him. Because if I force him to apologize, and he's not really empathetic, he's gonna do it again and again and again. That apology didn't mean anything. He's basically telling a lie or not even being honest because he's really not sorry. So I'm not gonna force him to apologize. I encourage him to apologize when he's ready. We model how we navigate conflict. So if there's a conflict, you're either gonna shut down or you're gonna handle the conflict. Does it escalate? Do you argue with people all the time, or do you um, don't just shut your mouth and don't say anything because you don't like conflict? Me personally, I don't like conflict and I don't like arguing. Now, I love a discussion. I love a healthy discussion, where I say what I have to say, you say what you have to say, and then we come to some type of resolution, or we just agree to disagree. But we model that for our children. So even in a relationship, whether it's part with a partner or with a employer or even with family, they're watching us. They're watching everything we say and do. So if you're always arguing, um, that's really not a healthy way to resolve a conflict. There has to be some type of resolution, even if the resolution is we agree to disagree. But there's a healthy way to handle conflict, and we model that for our children. So, like I said, if you're a person that you shut down and you don't say anything, that's not healthy either. But if you're a person that yells and curses and tries to outtalk the other person, that's how your child will do. We model how we approach differences. Um, Me personally, I am a disabled veteran. Um, so what my children see me do and what they see me do on an everyday, day-to-day basis, I'm trying to model for them that even though I'm a disabled veteran, I still have to do what needs to be done, but I have to keep my attitude in check because if I'm dealing with chronic pain or if I'm having an episode, I have to make sure that I don't take that out on them and other people. But I also can't shut down, you know, and not deal with people either. So that's a constant daily. battle for me to make sure I'm a good example to my children. That even though I'm in pain, I'm not yelling at them, I'm not fussing at them, I'm not, wallowing and not getting certain things done just because I'm dealing with the episode or I'm dealing with chronic pain. I still have to figure out a way, and I have to show them that everything is figure outable. I mean, there's a way to work with or work around anything to make sure that you still, reach your goal. We also model for them how we listen. So if we don't listen to them, they're not going to listen to us. If we don't give them a voice and give them a chance to voice how they feel, they're not going to be able to do that when they get older. If you're always telling them, be quiet, or you better not say nothing else, or so if you're not encouraging them to communicate with you in a healthy way, um, as long as you're not using that, well, I'm the adult and you're the child, so blah, blah, blah. No, you want them to be able to come to you and talk to you about anything. So, um, this is Think About It Thursday, and this is by no way, I am in no way trying to tell anybody how to parent their child. Everybody has to do what works for them. You have to do what works for you, and I have to do what works for me. So, in the Bible that I read, and the person that I serve, he's all about love. My name is Charity. My name means love, and that's the type of household that I'm raising my children in. They are going to be two young men, and I will be raising them the way I'm raising them because they need to be able to be some upstanding young gentlemen, by the time they become of age. And it's my job to model for them how they should be treated so they'll know how to treat themselves and other people. They will be, hopefully, husbands and fathers, one day. So I have to model for them how to treat women. I have to model for them how to treat children. I have to model for them how to treat everybody, people that are different. I mean, I have to model that for them. I can't just tell them, I have to show them. And the best way I can show them is the foundation I'm laying now and how I treat them. So I can't expect them to, be able to stand up for themselves and to, you know, uh, be able to fend for themselves and make decisions if, I'm always shutting them down and always telling them, oh, I know more than you because no, that's not how I'm gonna raise them. So I mean, just imagine, just think about it. You may not agree, but that's okay. And that's your business. And always remember that we are all smart, we are all blessed, we are loved, and we can do anything. Thanks for listening, and until next time.